Hey everybody, Conoucher here, and what's going on? It is time to actually do the Minecraft Lego set. I am going to be using the GoPro to record this. We'll see how it goes. I'm using it for video and audio because of the way the microphone doesn't like to sync with stuff like that, so we'll see how it goes. It could be totally terrible, it could be pretty cool. But either way, I am going to answer the questions I got in the AMA request from this month's channel update. So let's get started. Alrighty, so what do we have in here? We have instructions. Ooh, 2 books of instructions. That is a lot of instructions. That is more than I expected for such a small little kit. But alright. A lot of tiny little pieces, so let's go ahead and just... Yep. That happened. Alright, well that's not terribly many. This shouldn't take me too long. Open this up. Oh, look at that. They give you a removal tool with the kits now. Neat. I had many of these and still have, but I left my Legos at my parents' house. Many of these removal tools, they are a lifesaver. All the same kind, so let's keep them separate. Put them over here. So these are all, must be land pieces over there. These also are the same kind. Up, cat, back up. Go. Alright. So let's separate these out by color. That's the Dodger tried and true method of Lego construction. Alrighty, we are sorted out here. For the most part, this mess here all came out of one bag, so I'm going to leave that be because it's all the same kind of piece. Looks like we're going to start with some Endermen. And I need a funky looking block I've never seen before. A 1x1 with sides on it. And with blocks, I guess it's one of these. And then a flat one. Between a full 1x1. Cat, I don't know what you're up to, but I'm sure it's not anything good. Make a bunch of noise, that's what you're up to. Alright. Okay, and then apparently there's a little block with eyeballs on it. Haha! You can see that. It goes to the front without the knobs, and then we need arms. And here we go. Little Enderman. I have no idea how big that is on the camera. I have live view on the phone for the GoPro that I'm using to record this, and it works for about 5 seconds, then it just dies. So, yeah, there's that. Alright, so as I build these little guys, how about a question? First question, how about from... I'll start with the goofy ones, or the ones that kind of predicted what happened. From Jolo, when is the next series with that Jolo guy? Well, you know, I'll have to look it up with my lawyers. I'm pretty sure there were some violent endings to a certain series we ended a few months ago there. We don't really, we're kind of patiently waiting for 2016, F1 2016 to come out. 2016? 2015. I think it's actually 2015. It's weird because they released F1 2014, which is the one after the one we played, and then they said, oh, by the way, we're going to make another game within 6 months of that that's actually new, because if you watch anything on 2014, it's exactly the same game as 2013, which we just did that co-op in twice. Yeah, I think we did 2 seasons back to back in that. So, not too thrilled about doing that game because it's the same thing. It's the same exact game, just with slightly updated cars. You know, they put in the V6s, but the tracks look exactly the same. The animations are all exactly the same. I'm just not really into that. And unfortunately, there's no other good co-op racing games out there at the moment. And that's the format that really works well for the two of us because it kind of keeps us interested in it. I think if it was just a normal racing game, like we could do multiplayer Assetto Corsa or something like that, even iRacing. But if it's just the two of us, that's boring and it's not going to keep us interested. There's not enough of a goal there, especially since Jello outcurves Donkey. So yeah, that's the answer to that one. I will continue building my little Enderman here. And when I feel like answering another question, I shall return. I guess that's this color. This is always one of the most frustrating parts of these construction books, is the colors don't really match up to what they look like. These are the only big slates we have. I think I just spotted yeah, you're in the wrong spot. I'm going to assume that is the right one. Alrighty, so for these, yeah, then one in color, I assume these, and one brown, one by one. Do you have any of those? I don't see any of those. Are my eyes lying to me? Ah, they are right there. One brown, one by one. Alright, all those, let me get another question. How about, Tayu had 3 pretty good questions. His first is kind of a sore subject. I don't mean that in a negative way. I was not super publicly, I didn't make it very public knowledge, but, how many miles on the MR2? Is it a nice daily and any mod plans? Well, the MR2 is sadly no longer in my possession. That was a car I bought last October-ish, somewhere around there. It was the end of summer. I know because of the trip that I went to go get that car, it was ridiculously hot, and we rode from where I live down to, where was it, Lakeland or something like that, which is a 3-ish hour trip. And we did that in a 1985 Toyota Supra that had no AC and is overall in pretty rough shape. So it was a sketchy trip, and it was an experience. It was one of those memory building moments. I don't think I used 4 of those. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. I did. I guess I just got one too many. Alright, this one says, one by one. This car, it's gotta be 1 by 4, 1 by 3, and the brown 2 by 2, or 1 by 2. But I did end up selling that car, mostly because although it was a great car and I absolutely loved driving it, if you ever have an opportunity to own an AW11, go ahead and do it, because that was probably one of the most fun to drive cars, for as cheap as it was, that I have ever owned. And it's just, people like seeing it, it's a classic, and you know, it's a talking point. People want to know about it, or they have memories of having one. Between the two MR2s I had, I can't think of how many times people stopped me and said, boy, I had an MR2 and I really loved it, I wish I never sold it, which makes the fact that I had to sell mine even sadder, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. It had a lot of miles on it. It had 146,000, maybe it was 186,000, it could have been 186,000, I don't remember, when I got it. And I bought this car to use as a daily driver, which was not the smartest thing I ever done in my life. It was just kind of one of those spur-of-the-moment deals. And although it never really left me stranded, it needed a lot of work, it needed body work, the rust was starting to get pretty real on it, which happens to those cars. The engine needed to be gone through. It wasn't terrible, but it just needed, it needed valve seals, it needed, you know, regular maintenance for those cars. This is a strange looking piece. It's flat and then two. Oh, you're the only one that looks like that, so I'm gonna assume it's you. So yeah, that's why I ended up selling it. I did not realize at the time that I would end up selling it and not getting something else. So I have been daily driving the 240 since then, which isn't really what I had in mind for that car. It is not comfortable, and putting that many miles on the tires I have on it and stuff like that is not ideal. Oh, these pieces. Yeah. Alright. See, we're making progress. This looks like half of one of the little islands. You see it has like 4 little islands that all get paired together. Alright. Step number 9. No? Step number 1 again. Apparently we are done with this one for now. So you go over there. And we get a new piece. New piece. Yeah, I don't want to make that like, it wasn't like a tragedy or anything like that. It was just, it was sad to have to let that car go because they're really hard to find. And that one was a great example of a car that could be semi-easily restored. It needed a lot. But I ended up selling that one to somebody local who was looking for, similar to what I was looking for, something to use just around town. But the guy had excess amount of money to put into the car, and his dad actually owned a body shop, so he could help him with the rust repair and stuff like that. So, like when you have to put one of your animals up for adoption or something like that, it felt like I did that. I put that car up for adoption, and somebody took it that could actually do what needed to be done to that car. So, ever since then, I have been kind of looking for something else, but I haven't been able to work up the funds. But things have gotten better with work lately, so hopefully in the next couple months I'll be able to put something together. I have a related question. Let's see, who was that from? Okay, it's actually also from Ty. He asked, have you considered making more vids of the 240, getting a different autocross car, or modding the 240, or making it a drift car? I definitely have no intentions of making it a drift car. And honestly, at the moment, I don't really have any intentions to do much with it. Unfortunately, this season, that's going to sound, I'm being way too negative. Fortunately, this season, I have been offered many opportunities to drive other cars. So I think I'm going to end up doing that. Because the car is not currently competitive within its class, and I would need to do something extreme with it to get it there, such as maybe going turbo, bumping it up to SM, and then in turn doing all of those mods that go with that, going with stickier tires, stuff like that. It honestly needs probably $3,000 worth of investment in order to get it into a competitive class again. It's possible the car could be competitive in STX like I've been running it. It's just not probable. It's a little bit too underpowered in STX, and overall its suspension technology and such isn't quite up to the speed of, say, the BRZ, the BMWs, the 338s, stuff like that, 328s, whatever they are, that run in that class. So it's not competitive enough. I feel like it was holding me back as a driver, which is disappointing because I love the car. You know, I actually really enjoy autocrossing it, and even if I don't get to do a full season in it this year, I will definitely do a couple autocrosses in it. Great. As far as doing videos and stuff for the 240, or just doing more stuff with Cone's Garage, one of the things I was seriously considering doing with the money that I spent, or not spent, but got from the sale of the MR2 was to get another project car. And actually what I've been dying to build is a Z32 300DX. I have connections. I know somebody willing to sell theirs. Two-seater NA just like I want. And I would do, you know, just a restoration to it. I have no idea how random these cuts are going to be. I'm just kind of like spurting these thoughts out as I have them, as I'm going along. Maybe it'll work out. Maybe it'll be awesome. Maybe this is what my channel is going to be from now on. Who knows? You gotta try. Let's see. It's getting a little bit weird with all these 1x's. This must be the short island. The one with just the spire in the middle. Let's think so. Okay, so let's see. We got two 1x1s there. The reason I haven't gone ahead and did that with a 300 is what I've been really wanting to do is something I've not done ever in my life. In the 10 years I've been, 10 plus years, whatever, 10 years I've been driving, I've never had a new-ish car. I've never had something that I could just go out into the garage, hit the ignition switch, and just know that it's going to start, it's going to get me to where I need to go. The newest car I've owned that I've actually driven was the 92 MR2. And that car was super good to me. It only ever broke on me once. And that was just an alternator that left me stranded because I couldn't find any alternators for that car in town. Actually, you'll remember that. But yeah, that was the newest car I've ever driven. And that was during the era where I was going to school that was very far away. And there's the possibility of me doing that again in the near future. So I want something newish, reliable, but I also want something that's fun. I don't want to go out there and buy a Corolla because I'm going to be miserable driving it. And if I'm going to have to drive long distances, I want to be in something that I can enjoy. So the car that's on my radar, if we ever get the funding straightened out, is a Solstice GXP or a Saturn Red Line. Those are the turbo editions. They come with the Ecotec 2.0 turbo. They are convertibles. They did make a coupe, but they are extremely hard to find and extremely expensive. But they're pretty affordable. You can get a 2008-ish one with, 50,000 miles, something like that, for about $10,000, which is, in the realm of cars of that caliber, pretty cheap. It's actually less than you can get like a Miata or an S2000 from older, kind of the same era, but a little bit older. Um, but they're not as well known as those cars. They're not as well um, kind of received, I guess. They were not as popular by any means. I feel like I have messed this up somewhat. No, it's just hidden by a block. Okay. One black one, 3 light brown, whatever color. It's the end color. That's basically what it is. 3 of these. Okay. Got that. Go into the empty spots. But I did drive one. I test drove one in NA, and I enjoyed it. But I just know I would enjoy the turbo one more, because the NA one is actually, it was slower than the 240, which surprised me, because 240 is not a car that was built for speed in any sense of the word. 6 of these guys, huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so we're just gonna cover all the ones we just put down. All right, we'll do. But it's a comfortable car. It's maybe a little soft compared to, say, an S2000. I've driven one of those before, and it's definitely softer than that. But it's not a squishy, everyday road car, that's for sure. And it was comfortable. I liked the way you sit in it. It's got kind of that little bit of a cockpit feel like the MR2 had, which I liked. Interior is pretty crappy. That era of GM vehicles, bad interiors. But I don't really care about that stuff, especially for as cheap as it is. So yeah, that is a elongated answer to your question as far as that goes. We have some end crystals here. Looks like these are going to go on to here. So there's the obsidian towers and the, I think that's what they're called, crystals, end crystals, and main crystals, I don't remember. They're the things that help them regen, I know that much. That much I know. Aha! This is the roof of the piece we built earlier. So this goes, let's see, looking at it from this way, and up there. I see, so that piece with just the 2 makes it so you can take this off and look at it. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Wondering what this crazy piece was for. So, like this, and then slide one through the front, and another one right on the butt. Apparently, this is what a dragon butt looks like. And this, there. And we have ourselves an Ender Dragon. Okay. That foot goes into somewhere down here. Doesn't really say. I guess just anywhere. It seems to clip in pretty well. But it goes front to back. That's weird. And then, oh, it does say. In the back slots. Alright, and then on to, if we were looking at it from this way, it will be facing this way. There we go. Alright, now we're ready to move on to another island. Wow, it's much longer than I expected it to be.